Donkey Kong Bonanza has been announced. We see that Donkey Kong has a redesign. Let's talk about it. Salam, my name is Mustafa. I am a professional game designer. I've worked in the AAA game industry and currently I make small indie games on Steam. So part of my job is to understand storytelling and expression in games. Donkey Kong Country for the SNES is one of my favorite games. I loved all three Donkey Kong Country games. And Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze is one of the best 2D platformers I've ever played. So Donkey Kong's design has really stuck with me. I really like the character. He's fun, he's tough, he's strong. And I didn't feel like they needed to redesign him, but let's break down why they redesigned him. I hear a lot of people say, oh, they redesigned him to match the movie. And it isn't that they redesigned him to match the movie. In the movie, they redesigned him because they wanted to redesign him. So it's more that they redesigned him to match the new design of Donkey Kong. So this is not the original design of Donkey Kong, but this is the design of Donkey Kong that Shigeru Miyamoto sees as the official design of Donkey Kong. This is the design that Shigeru Miyamoto wants Donkey Kong move towards. And what they ended up doing is they kind of made it a blend of this as well as the Rare design. So when we look at the original designs of Donkey Kong, this right here is actually Shigeru Miyamoto's design that he sketched for Rare. Rare designed something more like this. They wanted to make him big, tough, and strong. While Shigeru Miyamoto, he wanted this design, but it was mainly because he wanted more expression with the face. Here's another one of the original sketches for Donkey Kong made by Rare. Now, when you look at this, you definitely see that there is an influence towards their other brands. Those of you who know your history know that Rare worked on Battletoads. And this is where Donkey Kong gets his iconic eyes from. Basically, they wanted him to look more mean looking and have this same looking eyes that the Battletoads have. So once you have an understanding of where the artists are coming from at Rare, then you can see how they came to that conclusion. They basically took what they already know, having edgy characters with scowling eyes, and implemented that onto Donkey Kong's design. So let's take a look at the difference between Rare's design and the newer designs. The main difference would be the eyes and the mouth. A lot of people notice the eyes, that the eyes are significantly different with the newer versions. But a lot of people don't notice that the mouth is also a bit different. So starting with the eyes with the Rare design are circular and there's a bigger gap in between the eyes. With the newer designs, you can see that the gap has decreased, and with the newest design, there's no gap at all in between the eyes. Also, the eyes for the Rare design are perfect circles, they're spheres. Then they become less circular in the movie, and then in the new redesign, they are egg-shaped, they're ovals. First of all, they're not going off of the movie design. That's the first point. But the reason why they went for this new design with the taller, oval-shaped eyes that are closer together is because it creates more opportunity for them to express emotions with the larger eyes. When you have eyes that take up more vertical space, then there's more room to go up and down for a squash and stretch and be able to result to more expressions. The Rare design for Donkey Kong, on the other hand, has very limited range of expression with those perfect sphere eyes. I want to do a really quick update on my game Beware Tomorrow, which is a first-person stealth horror game with stealth elements and puzzle solving. So I've been talking about this game for a while on my channel, and there hasn't been a real update. Reason being is because a lot of stuff has been going on. In December, my daughter, my third child, was born, and in the beginning of March, I just started a brand new job. And this is the first job that I've had that hasn't been temporary in the last 2 years. So a lot's been going on at the moment. I do plan on getting back on track with the videos, trying to get these recorded more frequently again, and also trying to get back on track with working on the development of the game. So I will definitely give you guys an update as to when things start to stabilize with my schedule, and I appreciate the patience. If you want to add it to your Steam wishlist, the link is in the description below, and I really appreciate the support. Another thing that I mentioned was Donkey Kong's mouth. The rare design, his mouth is actually very long. And the thing with long mouths on cartoon characters is that you're very limited with the amount of expressions that you can set with their long mouth. This is one reason why there are so few bird characters that are used as the main protagonist, because of the fact that it's very difficult to get so many different expressions when you have such a long mouth. I think Toucan Sam is a good example as to what happens when the character's face becomes very long. Like it becomes very limited as to what you can do with the character. Just about every time you use that character, it has to be the side of the face. You can't have the character look head on towards the camera. Looking at this new design for Donkey Kong, yes, his mouth is still pretty long, but they've made it slightly short enough to make it easier for them to make more expression. And I believe that is one of the major factors as to why they decided to go with this redesign, is because they wanted more expression. I see a lot of people online saying, oh, they wanted to drop the rare design because they don't want to use a design that someone else made. It's an ownership thing. They want to own their own design. There might be some truth to that, but from a design perspective, these are just a couple of reasons as to why they would want to change Donkey Kong's design, is so that if they want to use him more often as a main character, then they're going to want to have him express more. Just from that reveal trailer alone, they showed so much expression from Donkey Kong. This is the expression of Donkey Kong that I'm used to, that I saw in my childhood, with him looking tough and strong and mean looking. When it comes to a child's preference for characters, a lot of studies show that kids prefer characters with scowling eyes. One reason is because they prefer characters who are more rebellious, who aren't following the rules. They see it as more cool and edgy. And another reason is because there's a window of some years, like within the elementary school age, where kids will think they're too cool for things that are deliberately meant for kids. For example, I was substitute teaching a group of 6th graders, and I joked with them that I'll have them watch Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood. And a bunch of the kids were excited and happy about that. They're like, yeah, we love Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood. And for those of you who don't know what Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood is, Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood is a cartoon for preschoolers. When I said that same thing to a group of 4th graders, the 4th graders were not excited at all. In fact, they saw it as punishment. And that's because they're within the age group where they think it's cool to like things that are more adult. In general, that window within the elementary school age, above preschool and below middle school, there's going to be a lot of kids who don't like things that look too childish. So they prefer a design like this. But we also saw Donkey Kong make very silly faces like this. Even though this face looks like it's more for kids, this is actually for the parents. When the parents see something like this, they're going to think that okay, this is for my little kid. This is age appropriate for my kid. And who are the ones who are going to be paying for the game? It's going to be the adults and the parents. So this is the reason why the trailer has Donkey Kong making all these goofy and silly faces. It's mainly to draw the attention of the adults so that they can think this is a more family friendly, a more kiddie game. One thing I don't have an answer to though that has me confused as well is the fact that Donkey Kong's design has been updated, but Cranky Kong and possibly the other Kongs have not been updated. As you can see here in the screenshot from gameplay footage, Cranky Kong looks exactly like what he looked like before. Initially, I didn't like the fact that they changed Donkey Kong's design. I'm a believer that if something works, don't change it. Don't try to update it. But I think with this update, they did come with a design that looks similar enough to what has been working. Also, the changes make sense, especially when looking at it from the perspective that they want to make a character that has more abilities to emote different expressions. That is especially important for a character that doesn't really talk. Traditionally, Donkey Kong does not have speaking roles outside of that 90s 3D animated cartoon, as well as the Mario movie. He had a speaking role there, but usually Donkey Kong doesn't really talk in the games. When it comes to a character who's essentially a silent protagonist, they need to have as much emotion showing as possible. I hope you enjoy that breakdown of Donkey Kong's new character design. If you enjoy the content, please leave a comment. Let me know, do you like his new design or do you prefer the rare design? Please hit the like button. Thank you for watching. Take care. Goodbye.